Alright, so this is going to be the week 5, day 1, EchoFox versus 100 Thieves, NALCS VOD review. Start by banning Skarner, met with Gangplank, Callista banned away by 100 Thieves, Galio banned by EchoFox. It should be noted that I have not actually seen week 3 and 4 games, so I'm pretty, I'm actually excited to see, like, what has really changed since I last saw the games. Zach finally banned away last. And what patch is this? Patch 8.3. Okay. Zoe gets first picked by EchoFox. So hopefully 100 Thieves has an answer to it. I mean, Azir is still really good. I don't know about his popularity right now, but he definitely is still really strong. Cossadin, one of the standard answers to Zoe. We'll see what 100 Thieves is thinking by leaving it open. They pick Sejuani and then they pick Gnar. Gangplank is banned away. So Jarvan's still open inside of the jungle. Kha'Zix is still open, but Kha'Zix probably isn't a champion that you want to necessarily pick into the initial 2 picks of 100 Thieves. Fox now taking the Tristana, and they're hovering a Jungle Jax. Jungle Jax isn't necessarily the type of champion I would think of when I think of pairing it with a Zoe. Obviously, it can be really strong, and as long as you have lane dominance, then you're going to be able to get away with just power farming the Jax, and obviously that can be really helpful. Talia picked up by 100 Thieves. Going into the second ban phase, now Fox is just pinching ADCs. I don't think there's really any sort of a support that you need to pinch. Vladimir now pinched. Vladimir's interesting. Vladimir, again, not another champion I would necessarily think of to pair with the Jax. And that could actually end up being, it could have a negative impact on the Zoe pick. And then it also puts a lot of burden onto Altec on Tristana. Jinx locked in, and then Yasuo and Braum. So, I mean, those 2 picks are pretty good. Yasuo actually counters Gnar up in top lane, and then obviously that can be a really scary combo with the Jax because Gnar is always going to have to be respectful, especially when you consider the fact that Sejuani is most likely going to be wanting to play to the right-hand side and just cover her bottom lane and mid lane. So, like, when you're looking at these picks, basically, right, Huni gets to actually decide a lot with how the lane is going to be played out up in top lane, especially on the early levels. And Sejuani's not going to have any incentive to go up to top lane post level 3, unless something is going to go absolutely catastrophic, or if Huni's like piling up a big wave and it makes it really obvious that Dardoch wants to just dive someday. So Meteos, early on, if he just ends up going for a traditional like 3 camp or something into like a Scuttle Crab, he's not going to get the most value. It's not going to be atrocious because he does have the ability to just 3 camp up and then go to Scuttle and then stand by mid-top, because both mid and top less so, but mid more so, does have the ability to create gank opportunity, even though it's going to be pretty unlikely. When you're looking at bottom lane, obviously you want to get Jinx ahead. You want to make sure that Talia doesn't get behind against the Zoe, because then in the mid stages of the game, this team composition where Zoe gets really nuts just basically at every point of the game. Obviously Yasuo, he's going to spike at a certain point. Jax is also going to spike at a certain point. You just can basically play around that and then stall to the later stages of the game, and then you turtle your red side jungle against the Baron, and you continue to stall it out and let Talia continuously just keep ramping, and let Jinx continue to ramp. The problem, though, with 100 Thieves is that it's always going to be basically razor thin at most parts of the game, and any slip-up, EchoFox is just going to be able to do so much with it. Eventually, it'll reach a point where Yasuo is actually going to become a pretty big thorn inside of 100 Thieves' side, because they're not going to have a reliable way of keeping him under control. So they can let Talia and Jinx scale up. Like 4 or 5 items is probably the sweet spot for 100 Thieves. Well, I wouldn't say exactly 5 items. It'd be like 4 to almost 5 items, like 4.5 items, right? Anything after that, Fox is actually probably going to retake over advantage. I would say that probably 3 items is one of their best opportunities in the game, at least for team fighting potential. But 1 and 2 is going to go over to Fox as well. So obviously Dragon RNG and stuff that can have a pretty big impact. That's pretty much it. So we'll see. That's actually awesome. That Dardoch sign thingy. Alright. The VOD speed is set to X2. Mountain Drake is coming up first. It is extremely important that 100 Thieves deny that from EchoFox. EchoFox, that is... Wait, what? Oh, it's not Mountain Drake. Oh, it's Ocean. Okay. I was going to say, Mountain Drake, I think, would arguably be one of the best dragons for them to get. Infernal is obviously super, super, super valuable, but I think they can actually just do a little bit more with Mountain, because that would play a part in the time where 100 Thieves would be trying to stabilize the game, and it could obviously skew some things, and it could help out Altec and Huni quite a lot. So far, nothing too chaotic unfolding, and I really like what Dardoch's doing. He starts blue, he does Gromp, now he does Wolves. He's going to be able to go into our full clear, and as long as he acknowledges that Huni is able to be relatively safe up in top lane, because again, we talked about in the pick ban that he has dictatorship over what exactly will happen up in top lane. If Meteos does end up, he didn't even actually do a 3-camp. He didn't do a 3-camp into red, he just did blue to red. And so now one of the problems that he's going to find himself having is after blue to red, his route becomes awkward. Because now we can branch down into Wraiths, but it doesn't matter, now you're behind on Jax on tempo. Your route is now just like really skewed, right? Because by the time you would get to here, you don't have any potency to go bottom lane, and now if Jax does start on the left-hand side of the map, he's now matching you on this side of the map, and you're behind on tempo and behind on priority. So now you're at the liberty of your laners to maybe have something set up for you. But no matter what, post-recall, Jax is just going to have so much more efficiency coming off the recall because you have an awkward camp to go to and you have another awkward camp to go to. And even when you can path back to the right-hand side of the map, you're going to be pathing there behind tempo on Jax. And so things just feel really bad. They got the cleanse out of Ryu. This actually puts a lot of pressure on him. And you can see that Meteos, he can't really do anything with the opening route, and Dardoch just gets so far ahead. Ryu now is always going to have to be respectful of the Zoe. And Meteos is now pathed onto the right-hand side of the map, but Dardoch is just one step ahead of him. And this is basically the line that he's going to have to walk early on. 100 Thieves needs to make sure that they don't fall behind, and then in the mid stages of the game, they have to just try to stabilize, get to those 2 and 3 items, and then lock the game. And then they need to look for good team fights, let Jinx basically go off, and then ride that to victory off of Baron. It's really important that they get Baron. Fortunately for them, one of the worst dragons in the game spawned, so it's not going to be super beneficial to EchoFox. I think, like, in terms of order, I would say that it's probably Mountain, Infernal, Cloud, Ocean for EchoFox. And for 100 Thieves, the best dragons would actually probably be Ocean, Ocean, Mountain, Cloud, or Ocean, Mountain, Infernal, Cloud. You could probably make an argument that Ocean Infernal Mountain would be okay. And the reason that I'm not listing Infernal as the main dragon is because you shouldn't ever assume that they should actually be able to capitalize on getting that first dragon against this EchoFox team. Look at the CS overall, everything's looking pretty okay. They're handing off the blue. This is giving Dardoch an opportunity to come in and get deep wards. I like how they're playing against that. Hootie shoved in the wave. And this let Dardoch actually steal away the red from Meteos. And now, is Dardoch going to go immediately to his red, or is he going to hand off the blue? Because you can see that Meteos basically, he had an idea to immediately just go into Dardoch's red side jungle, but the problem is that he was met with a ward inside of the river. So this allows Phoenix to basically just fall back and protect it if he wants, and then Dardoch immediately just comes over to his red, and this basically asphyxiates Meteos, because now everyone knows where he is, everyone knows exactly what camps are up. Because Dardoch was just in this jungle, you can look at the wards around here. So now everyone knows, like, okay, Meteos, basically you're being played against with map hacks at this point. Everyone knows where he is, where he can go, what his clear speed is, what's his movement speed, etc. Bot lane is virtually immune. Zoe is completely solid in mid lane right now. And now Dardoch is pathing onto the left-hand side of the map, which is exactly where Meteos doesn't want to be, because he's going to get no value out of that side of the map, and he's no longer playing to his strong side of the map that is going to be the most important side for his team and, you know, team composition, etc. So EchoFox is really far ahead, even if it doesn't seem like that. Gold lead up top. I mean, 100Thieves has a little bit of a lead in terms of gold, but it ultimately doesn't matter. 100Thieves is going to pick up the Ocean Drake. Dardoch's basically chuck testing Meteos right now. And even though some days ahead in CS, that doesn't actually mean that much. Hootie is going to be the one that is coming out ahead inside this lane. Looks like he's going to be going Blade of the Ruin King first. The game is in a little bit of a lull state right now. This is the Sleepy Bubble Trouble. Looks like they're going to try to pick up a kill onto Dardoch. He's able to get away. And Meteos now not having his ultimate. That's actually pretty big, because it basically means that no ganks can ever be set up now. And you can see bottom lane is basically just going tit for tat. But it does look like Tristana is, or Altec is actually just going to be opting into the Infinity Edge, whereas Jinx is going to go for the attack speed item. They do manage to actually get up to top lane and pick up a kill onto Huni. So this is kind of big, but not the end of the world. There's no dragon, and they're not really going to be able to get anything other than just the kill itself. So it's not like they pick up any turret damage. It's not like they can now, you know, coordinate some sort of a play, because Yasuo just comes back to the lane. He shoves so quickly, and both top laners had teleport available. So, like, you watch the replay, you can see Huni tries to get away, Weaver's Wall comes in. They weren't responding to that in time, so pick up a kill there. But at the end of the day, it's not like a super impactful kill. You know, if they picked up that kill and they had like 10 minions left behind, and the Gnar was able to stay up in top lane and get, you know, 1,500 turret damage down or something, that's really big. But now, instead, EchoFox getting a ton of turret damage down in bottom, and this is actually really bad for 100Thieves. Because this means that Yasuo can actually get unlocked sooner, and it lets the bottom lane rotate up to the top half of the map, which is going to be the most important neutral objective, because Herald. And then they can actually just give away the second Ocean Drake if 100Thieves even wants to commit to getting that. Now they're trying to set up another kill onto Huni. It's just really, really hard to do so. And okay, I mean, alright. Yeah, it's alright. Okay. Jinx trying to get bottom turret. One of the things I don't like here, right? Let's just talk about this really quick. So, bottom lane, they recall. And you can see that Huni is actually fine up in top. And rather than just handshake it and get tempo advantage, they send back down into bottom. And I think this is pretty erroneous. So, if they recall here, and bottom lane's already right here, and they're going up into top lane, they can just go up into top, and now if this lane is behind on tempo with the recall, they get up to top, and then Jax is able to just path back up to the top left-hand side. Zoe can get priority in mid lane, and then Yasuo is finally commencing his split push. Alternatively, Yasuo could actually also recall. They can let the wave come in here, and then Yasuo could just move up into mid. Jax can go back onto the left-hand side as bottom lane gets to top, and they can actually force a 5-man at Herald. They can use this to try to take away the teleport from Someday. Because even if a team fight actually unfolds right now, Fox would probably have the advantage. So I think that would be a pretty nice opportunistic capture. Yasuo's finally inside of the split push, bottom lane's finally top. The only thing I don't like about this, I mean, watching this replay again, they pick up the kill onto Ryu. Obviously, that's super, super good. But the only thing I don't like about this is you see Yasuo's recalling right now, and he's going right back down into bottom. I'd really just prefer if Huni just basically says, okay, bottom lane's a pawn, and he just passes up to mid lane. Zoe goes up to top, begins asserting pressure up into top. You make these 3 people turtle underneath their top turret, and then you fall back down as 4. Yasuo came mid, shoves in the wave. Talia's angled off over here, and then you force the 5-man here. You get the teleport out of Someday. After the teleport commences, then you have Yasuo teleport back down into bottom lane and commence the split push again. I think that's pretty standard. I don't know the obsession with constantly just stalling out the game right now when they have such a good spot. Some of the Riftled up in top lane. Fortunately, it doesn't actually take any damage, and now 100Thieves is actually backed all the way up. Infernal Drake coming up next is really, really unfortunate for 100Thieves, because this is going to occur at the game time where they're just trying to stabilize just a few minutes more. Like, realistically, they want to be making this to like 27, 28 minutes. And unfortunately for them, EchoFox is going to have priority at every single lane, and they're going to be able to pick up the Infernal Drake. And that's just disastrous for them, because every single champion on EchoFox basically benefits from it, with the exception of like Braum. Instead, arbitrary fights occur all across the map. Instead of just conceding top tier 1 turret and letting Phoenix get it, we go for teleport plays and needless, team fights. But, it ends up working out in the end. And now we're gonna, as EchoFox, just use this opportunity to actually capture the Baron. So here's the thing, right? You rewind all the way, and right here, you see Jinx very indecisive. Like, Cody-san doesn't actually know what to do. He comes up to the wave, he shoves the wave, he backs up, he recalls, cancels recall, comes to mid. What are you coming to mid for? Because Ryu's gonna shove out the wave. You're not going anywhere. Okay? You do not need to walk from top lane to Dragon right now when it has 1 minute and 35 seconds to come up. Make up your fucking mind. Either walk up at the wave and get the turret because you have vision on their bottom lane, had vision on Yasuo. Even if Zoe shows up in top lane, as long as you're playing around it properly, you're going to be fine. But it doesn't make any sense. So you walk into the tri-brush, then you walk back up to top lane. You were never going to mid lane, never in a million years. Meteos comes up to top lane with you too, because it's very important to get that 100 gold. That's going to make or break the game right here. In fact, killing that turret is even a little bit disadvantageous, because now, if this wave comes in to into EchoFox, for instance, right, and they just actually have complete, they have control to lock the wave here. They can allocate all of the gold into Phoenix, keep their bottom lane in mid, and then Yasuo continues to just keep going bottom. Eventually, Dardoch pass, hands off the red over to Altec, and then Phoenix unlocks the lane, creates a slow push up in top lane, and then they path over to the Dragon S5 when it's coming up in a minute. And then what ends up happening is while the Dragon teamfight is breaking out, even though you have control over the river, it doesn't really matter because there's a slow push mounting in this vicinity. So, it doesn't make any sense what 100 Thieves is doing. And then because of that, we end up having this random teamfight unfold. Meteos ends up going down, and this should be converted into a Baron capture. Now, Infernal's coming up. They should just completely ignore Gnar. Yasuo shoves in. Huni should come down. They get the Infernal Drake now. They're just gonna 2-mana, it seems like. That's completely fine. Huni should just go into bottom. I don't know why I recalled. Just go into bottom, tap the wave with Baron. Tap the wave, escort that wave all the way up, because you see Gnar coming down. So escort the entire wave up, because your 4 teammates are going to be able to cut them off right here. They can't go into you. You can get so much damage down. Then you back up, your teammates back up, you recall, you go top lane, teammates re-go 4 mid. You get all the way up to top lane, you get over to here, teammates get 4 over here, they fight for vision over here, eventually they converge into the red side jungle, they fight over vision over wraiths, they fight over vision for right here, you get up into top lane, they fight over this, and then because of Zoe, obviously 100 Thieves is going to be forced to back the fuck up, so they're going to end up having to concede this area, and then you're going to yacht with you up in top lane, you siege the top turret, you get top tier 2, and then you recall again, and then you do 4-1 again. These are the ways that 100 Thieves can actually come back. Is when EchoFox, teams do this all the time. It's like watching someone that's really novice in Risk, and they have a really big army, and they can just keep turtling their country, or their continent bonus, and eventually just keep capturing, 1 or 2 countries a turn or something, keep getting the cards, turning them in, getting more reinforcements, more resources, etc. But they're like, no, I have this really big army, I should smash now. And they have like this Hulk, this Hulk-type nature or approach about it, and it's so bizarre. Like right here, okay, sure, they could have ended up killing Ryu. I agree that, killing Ryu is a pretty fair thing here. Like, in a lot of universes, he probably would go down, okay? So this is something that, you know, you look at and you're like, oh, unfortunate, because if Ryu goes down here, this ends up changing everything. Okay? And you can see that Altec comes in, Dardoch comes in, they don't end up getting him. Now, is this necessary? Is it imperative that you kill Ryu here to get the game? If you kill Ryu, you're still getting the tier 1 turret regardless. Okay? Even if Ryu doesn't go down, you can still escort the wave into the tier 2. You're not going to get it. Now, if Ryu goes down, you can get the mid-tier 2. But is the mid-tier 2 more important than actually keeping and maintaining tempo advantage inside of the side lanes and letting Yasuo do his thing? No, I don't think that it is. So you could win the die roll. You could, you know, push on and get something. But realistically, I don't think that it's a part of the big picture, that it's what you should be worrying about. It is something that's really, really unfortunate. But, like, the fact that, like, Altec, for instance, right here, he leaps forward, and so does Dardoch, instead of just conceding the, like, we're not going to get the kill. That would be fine. Get this, accept that you're not going to get the kill, and then ride the wave up with the Baron minions, back up, Yasuo applies pressure, someone has to respond to Yasuo, when someone responds to Yasuo, you're going to have the 4-on-4 in mid. It's all going to be fine. Nice little replay right here. So when you're looking at this from a 100Thieves perspective, the game has hit a point where their items are quite good. And if they can continuously look for Talia plays with Jinx, and they can just continuously turtle this area, and then allow Gnar to just permalock bottom, and, you know, he has teleport available to him, this is fine. They're not getting pressured by neutrals, so it's okay. Once Baron comes back up, they need to look for plays around this area by trying to entice Fox to come into them. As long as Fox actually just plays a pretty patient game, things get really difficult for 100Thieves, and it's a balanced out game. They end up picking up a kill onto Aphromoo. And then when you look at the situation again, they're pushing in a wave. And you can see that they're just not respecting the Zoe whatsoever. There's no wave here. There's no wave. So, here's a question. Like, the wave isn't here yet. Wait for the wave to come up, and then CS it. You don't need to be this far up. Zoe's a good champion. Altec taking away the blue, and now Altec, he didn't actually go bottom, which is interesting. So, like, let's take a look at this. Okay, never mind. Baron's coming up in a minute. So, see this right here? This is interesting. If Huni goes bottom, he has this teleport available. So, he could stay bottom. He also has an option to just generate a slow push in bottom and then unite with his team. So, he does have a choice. Likely just going to stay in bottom, though, and hard shove, and then use his teleport to go to the Baron. What? Alright, what's going on here? Okay. gets the Mountain Drake. Baron's up now, Morgana gets picked off. So this is pretty simple. You just bring Yasuo with you now, and you get the Baron, and then you have Yasuo stay in mid lane, and then you have 4 players go top lane. Tristana cuts off the wave. Braum should have actually just immediately ran backwards to this wave, caught it, escorted up to the turret. Yasuo stays mid, pushes it up, keeps, basically stands his ground at the Wraith area, like in between the 2 turrets in mid lane, and then just goes up, unites with his team around here, and then he just comes back down as the mid waves eventually get back into mid, and then he pushes it up with Baron. His teammates get top, and then you just coordinate a 4-1-0. That would be completely fine. And then depending on like what the state of bottom lane is, he might even actually have the option to just TP into bottom. Okay. Well, they end up getting an inhibitor turret, and they don't get a kill, but that's completely worth it. So Huni ends up going down, but they get inhibitor, turret, and inhibitor. So super, super valuable. They just got so much value out of that push. And you can see right now 100 Thieves is looking to potentially make their last stand down in bottom lane. I really like what EchoFox is doing with the 0-1-4. And I don't like how they just had one person die for no reason. So, right here, you have Baron minions, and you're coming up the lane, and you can see that Phoenix is a little bit out of position, right? Altec is already in the base with Adrian, and this isn't necessary because it's an open inhibitor, which means that you don't actually need minions unless you're looking for them to be fodder. If Huni arrives inside of the base, they basically have no answer at that point because we've already seen that it takes 2 people to bring them down, and you know that you should just be playing against a Talia wall. So I don't like how fast they moved all the way up the lane. They should have just been playing 1300 range, and then at 1300 range it would just be, you know, lights out, because eventually the map would play itself rather than anything potentially going wrong to like mechanics. So it doesn't matter in the end. They end up getting both inhibitors. They enable the 7 versus 5 Mountain Drake Infernal, and you can just see that 100 Thieves, their team comp, not going to be able to really do anything anyway. They're just so far behind at this stage of the game. So in terms of the draft, there was a clear-cut way that 100 Thieves would have had to have played to have a chance, but realistically they were going to be behind at most points. And because they were going to be behind at most points, it was always going to be an uphill battle. Meteos' opening was really, really important for dictating how the early game could go, and Dardoch, I just think, had a much superior opening. And I think that he utilized his pathing a lot better than Meteos, and Meteos was just always behind on tempo, and it proved to be really, really, really problematic. The other thing is that they could not really achieve anything on these colors, and then even though the initial Ocean Drakes ended up being favorable for 100 Thieves, the next dragon was really, really unfortunate, the timing in which it spawned. So things just not going that great. But overall, I mean, some macro stuff going wrong, but not a bad NA game to watch.